Paul Thomas Anderson is one of my favorite filmmakers, and in this video, I wanted to rank his films in my own personal opinion. And you might disagree with the list, but through this video, I wish to celebrate his work. And this video does not contain any spoilers for any of the films that are going to be listed. Number 9, Hard Eight. I quite like this film. It is Anderson's debut, which is also probably why I consider it his weakest film. The story is simple, the characters are simple, everything is just laid out exactly as it is. The acting and filmmaking certainly stand out. You can tell that this filmmaker has a great future ahead of him, but it wasn't anything too special or memorable. Inherent Vice. This was actually pretty good. I admired this movie more than I liked it, but I still liked it quite a bit. The film looks great and I really liked the performances, but something here felt lacking compared to PTA's other films. It portrays the mood of the era it's situated in pretty well, but I had no clue where this was heading. Maybe that's the point of the movie, but it did not completely work for me. I still enjoyed this one for sure. Number 7, Punch Drunk Love. This film felt pretty odd and I was engaged, but I can't really say that I connected with the characters as much as I would have liked to. The relationship between them is certainly strange, and if I'm being honest, that did not completely work for me in terms of believability, and I might feel differently upon rewatch, but still the characters were most certainly interesting. The filmmaking here is obviously spectacular. I mean, I can't expect less from Anderson. It's a film that explores the border between love and extreme violence. I also love the look of the film. It has this fairy tale glossy like glow to it that serves what the film is aiming to achieve. Number 6, The Master. I absolutely love this film. The filmmaking here is more patient and controlled. Anderson knows what he's doing. It manages to depict a very strange atmosphere which goes along well with the odd and unpredictable characters that are so complex and nuanced that we are forced to try and understand who they are at their core deep down. In many scenes, there are very little cuts, and so that helps us to really feel the length of each scene. So much so that it got me extremely immersed in everything being shown on screen. I feel like I'm there with the characters, experiencing what they are living. Everything else is complemented with some beautifully staged shots that simply left me in awe of its sheer beauty. But it all feels like it has a sense of purpose, that everything is in service of the greater narrative. It's an exploration on the complexity of human beings and believing oneself to be able to make an internal change. I was completely hooked throughout its running minutes. I loved it tremendously. Number 5, Boogie Nights. Plot wise, this is a film that gives us a deep dive into the functioning of the adult industry in the 70s, and the filmmaking style is very reminiscent of Scorsese with the whip pans and highly active camera during stress inducing scenes, along with the long takes to establish locations. But it is executed in a way that doesn't come across as a cheap imitation, but is portrayed seamlessly. Another way it reminded me a lot of Scorsese's work is how it follows the rise and fall of a protagonist who becomes too comfortable in his own luxurious life and begins to let pride play a factor in his downfall. It gave me insight into how society was in the 70s and where people's interests lie, and what surprises me the most is that Anderson made this when he was just 26 years old. Number 4, Licorice Pizza. I will not talk about this film much because I've already talked about it briefly in my top 10 of 2021 video, but I just love this film a lot. It really isn't about anything in terms of plot, themes, and character arcs, but the outstanding filmmaking and performances kept me thoroughly engaged. What I think the film is trying to achieve is just to depict the mood and feeling of a specific time period in history and how the two main characters are affected by the internal and external factors of this moment in time. It's very reminiscent of Quentin Tarantino's previous venture Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in terms of visual presentation and tone. Licorice Pizza is an absolute classic and one of, if not the best films of this decade so far. Number 3, Magnolia. To execute this type of film where several seemingly unrelated narratives are interwoven together through the use of its frenetic filmmaking takes a ridiculous amount of skill to pull off. But when you have a director like Paul Thomas Anderson behind the camera, you know that the film is in good hands. Despite its lengthy runtime, it contains several emotionally interesting characters, all with their own personal problems and internal conflicts that kept me engaged. But through the use of its characters and editing, all of them are connected in some way that manages to bring order and a sense of rhythm to a story that, if not handled well, could have been an absolute mess. The film also surprises you and makes creative decisions that are bold yet also suiting to what it's trying to achieve. It's just pure cinematic mastery. Number 2, Phantom Thread. If elegance could be described in the form of a movie, Phantom Thread would be it. The film has this soft pastel look to it, almost as if it's woven from the fabric of the clothes the film showcases. Its beautiful look complements the story about a toxic couple that hurt each other, yet stay together. I am just in pure awe of what Anderson has achieved here. Every shot has a sense of purpose where the director is in complete control of his craft. I was left speechless at what I had just witnessed. I love how food is used to portray dominance and power structure between a relationship, and how these two flawed characters who are clearly not meant for each other manage to live together. Just glorious work from Anderson and team. And number one is There Will Be Blood. And it seems like the obvious choice, of course, but to me, There Will Be Blood is Anderson's magnum opus. Again, I will not dive too much into the film because I've already made an analysis video on it, but it is easily one of the best movies of the 21st century. The way it tackles themes of religion and corporate greed through the use of its central characters, as well as Anderson's magnificent filmmaking, visually showing power dynamics between characters just through the use of framing and performances, makes the film an unforgettable experience. I will be watching this film many more times to come in the future, and I'm sure that I'll be just as floored as I was upon his first watch. So yeah, that's my list. It might or might not change in the future, and to stay updated with that, you can go to my Letterboxd account, link in the description. Comment below your personal list or your personal favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie in the comment section. I'd love to talk to all of you about it. Thank you for watching and have a great day.